background. I'd like to call to order the Parks and Cemetery Committee meeting for this evening. Members of this committee are Mr. Ricklick, Mr. Lonzer, and alternate Mr. Steve Rippeth. So we'll go with roll call. Mr. Ricklick is excused for this evening, so we got Mr. Lonzer? Here. Mr. Rippeth?
Here.
And I am here as well. So, purpose for tonight's meeting is to discuss Resolution 25, 2023. This resolution is a use agreement between the City of New Philly and the New Philadelphia City School District for the use of the tennis courts. There's a lot of words here, so I'll make it as easy as possible. The city will lease the tennis courts for $1 a year for 10 years. And in return, the city and the school district will split the cost of the resurfacing of the tennis courts as needed, which usually takes about every 5 to 7 years. So that's really what this resolution is about. Mr. Mayor, you've got anything else to add there?
No, I just appreciate the work you did on this, Mitch,
No problem.
to revise it.
Yep. Committee members, you guys have any questions or concerns or comments?
Seems pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
I believe, Mayor, I think we're gonna try to do this for the other shared facilities
Yes.
of some sort,
The school district's attorneys are
requesting.
requesting that they have these agreements for every facility they use,
Okay.
city-owned facility.
Thank you. Council, any other council members, any questions? Sure, any questions?
Nope.
Good evening tonight. Good to see you.
Got it, thank you.
And I don't see anybody here from the public.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to point out, the reason their attorneys are requesting this is they're saying that unless they have a stake in it, they can't donate funds to it. And so that's what the issue is.
Okay.
It's not necessary, but it's necessary if they want to help and donate to the maintenance of these facilities. And that's the whole rationale behind it.
Okay. Anybody want to make a motion to,
I would move that we put that on tonight's agenda for first reading.
I'll second that.
all right, and we'll vote. Mr. Ribbit?
Yes.
Mr. Lonzer?
Yes.
And I will also vote yes. And then, do you guys have any other matter to come before the committee? I do. I think Mr. Farbiza will be here tonight giving us a check for the advertising, the sponsors for the airport windows and the
Garbage truck.
garbage trucks, yep. And what I would like to propose is that money be earmarked for Tuscarora Park, Southside Community Park, or the waterworks in a way that the administration, the park board, the park director can say what that money goes for. Obviously, the money currently goes to something in the city, but I think, I think for the businesses that sponsor or advertise on the windows or the garbage trucks, I think with them knowing where that money's going, you might end up getting more sponsors, especially to knowing that it goes to our parks that everybody in the city loves. So I just wanted to bring that up this evening to get an idea of what council thought and the other committee members and administration. Mayor, what do you think?
I think it's a good idea, Councilman. Because as you know, our park system continues to grow and will grow. And as it grows, the maintenance needs will grow. So, if we can earmark some money to go right to that need, I think that's something we should do.
Mr. Lonzer?
Mr. Mayor, some of that money right now, is it going back to the airport? Because the advertisements on the airport windows, or is it just straight to the?
No, but that is another issue that we're exploring, because the FAA has changed its rules, and it could be any revenue that we're collecting in the airport has to stay at the airport.
At the airport. I thought there was
Yeah.
something like
Yeah,
that
that's
when we
in the
made that
works.
original
Right.
original contract with that, I mean, I don't think it has to all go,
No, but
but some of it has to go back into the,
well, what I believe the mayor's talking about now is the FAA guidelines now. Anything that's generated from down there has to go. So I think what you'll have to do, or Councilman Pace, would be the garbage truck probably alone, because we just got off with Jana Ratke from FAA, last
In
week.
a meeting with
And,
her.
and that was news
see,
to us.
that's new to me.
Yeah, well, and we need to talk about that, Dan, just so you know, but yes, they had said like, any hangars, the restaurant, anything, all the crops, anything,
Agriculture.
anything that's on that property. And we haven't brought it up to Beth yet, but I got a feeling we're gonna have to make another line item like the 806, whatever,
Yeah,
to
that-
say, you're gonna have to make a line item,
I
it's
mean-
gonna have to go there, which,
I mean, the
six
mon-
of one, half does the other, because like this year, we have, what, 90-something thousand going to them to make things, so
Yeah.
we just have it there. It's,
I
you
say
know.
we're probably putting that much into it anyways, aren't we?
Yeah, and that's what I told Jana, that we're doing that, but for the guidelines, it
It has
has
to
to.
be, so, yeah, that would be
In,
the best.
yeah, in order to receive
trail.
any,
Yes.
assistance from the FAA.
Yeah. Or else.
So,
for the
yeah,
next
that's
20
something,
years.
and a matter of fact, we got that information from Janaraki today, and I'll forward that on to the airport commission members tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're not having a meeting tomorrow, but
Right.
first, yeah.
Thank you, Dan, for bringing it up, that's a good point.
I just was thought about that, I'm
Yeah.
like, I remember.
I didn't know anything about it.
I remember that original process with it.
No, and Dan and to Councilman Pace's point, we just was just 2 weeks ago, I think when we first started, said, hey, we'll get back with you. Well, she confirmed today in an email that
Yeah.
yes, and that's like I say, again, that's from the farmland to the restaurant. Naturally we have,
And I'm in complete agreement with you, Mr. Pace, I think that money should go
yeah,
to the parks, I would love it to go to the
Yeah.
parks, but I mean, because I think those windows alone paid for the airport money that, I mean, they got all those energy efficient windows
Yeah.
installed there,
yeah.
that's, you know, I
If
mean,
you-
anything above that is just cream
If
of
you
the
can make
crop.
some legislation to where, you know, the caveat or carve something out that's just on the garbage trucks,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, you know, it directs that money
And
into a line
as the
item.
mayor had stated, I mean, we all know, we've all talked here in the last 2 months about, you know, the restroom, the other restroom.
The other, yeah,
You know,
the
we're
big
taking care
restroom.
of Val Maloney, so, you know, if you try to do something like that and have some money
Yeah.
there, I think it's a great thing.
Yep. All right. Question for Mr. Law Director. Do I just get with you to write up that legislation, I assume?
For the,
To move the garbage,
I would go through Beth first.
Beth first,
To
okay.
find out if we need a special fund to do that.
okay,
Because if we need a special fund, she'll have to sign a number to it. And then usually she communicates with me and then I just draw it up.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
if I could make a recommendation, I
Yeah.
think you should look at the agreements we have right now with QDA for the garbage trucks and the windows, so you can give the law director a little bit more direction
okay,
on, you know, the revenue that is coming in from that and how it should be directed.
okay.
And I drew up those agreements, so I've got them all on
Yeah.
the file.
Right,
It was in my, I just remembered that because it was in my committee originally.
Yep.
When that vote, yeah, I think there was something to do with the airport with the windows and the funding for some of it goes to, I think it was worded, goes to the airport or whatever.
And I'm sure that Beth would have to be involved because we did a similar thing, with the new Shunbun Meadows to where there's a certain fund, the X amount from each columbarium goes to this, each one from a plot goes to this, so that when a columbarium's full, we have the money sitting there to go out and purchase another columbarium, so.
Okay.
I'm sure she'll make a line item especially for that, be my guess.
I think that's what she did do.
Yeah, right,
because-
yeah, well, yeah, you would've been, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right, yes.
Good deal. Well, thanks, everybody, for comments and
Yeah,
we're,
productive.
yeah. So, anybody have anything else for this evening? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you. Meeting was adjourned at 6:24. Sorry.
Hey, Tom.
Okay.
But the original
I would
is,
like to call
so
this
maybe on
meeting of
October
the Special and Contact Committee to order. Uh, We are here tonight with, I see Councilman Holland is excused, but we've got Mr. Lanzer is here, and Mrs. Ramos is here as our alternate. I passed out to you earlier ordinance 30, 2023, which is the ordinance that is required to amend chapter 197 of our codified ordinances. Point of order, I think this is Public Works, isn't it?
6:30?
Yeah, it is. 6:30 is Public
I
Works.
thought so. I was
I thought so too, I was kind of telling him it was time. I would like to retract my statement calling this meeting to order until later.
Okay.
I mean, you can do it now and then I can go after. I mean,
Yeah, it's published.
I guess you're on. Are you ready?
Sure.
Dan's on.
You ready to go? Okay.
I am ready to go.
It's now 6:31. We're going to be calling the Public Works and Economic Development meeting to order. Members are Mrs. Ramos, Mr. Rippeth, and myself. Alternate is excused, and Mr. Ricklick. We have one item to discuss tonight, and that's proposed ordinance 9, the vacant property ordinance. We've discussed this in quite depth a couple different times, and we were all in agreement that we liked it, everything was good, but we wanted to get a couple wordings done, and Marvin wanted to re-look at it and get a couple of things tweaked in that and stuff, and we've got the legislation before us now. And originally, if there was gonna be enough of us, I was gonna ask to see if we can get it suspended, because I know Mr. Matthias, our building and zoning code administrator, has some vacant properties he wants to act on here. But, so hopefully, maybe we'll have enough next meeting that we can suspend the rules and get that passed. But, Mayor or Ronnie, what do you guys wanna speak on this a little bit, or?
I know when Josh and I have had multiple conversations over it, it's more, as everybody knows, is what we have, the vacant, more commercial properties that are downtown. He would like to try to get a little more push on some of that stuff and recognize what is vacant, what's not being used for storage. We all see what's just some of the stuff downtown, but it also, it's industrial building and residential, so it takes it all in. And so he just wants to try to get an inventory and help with maybe reaching out to him and trying to get a little bit of, just another tool in his toolbox to help exactly know what is out there and what their plans are. And he's hoping that the fee, I think it's a 5-year max of $2,400. I forget the exact thing, but I just know that just wants to get something moving. You know, we've had the building over on the corner. I just think of always the old Times Porter building on Fair. It just sits there, and so we'd like to, let's try to get these people motivated, or some folks motivated. And as we all know that probably in the last 7 to 8 years, we've really been moving on the blighted that's in town and trying to help with that stuff. And I think we've done a great job. I just think that Josh believes this would help him a lot and help, like again, just nudge some people. You know what I mean? Not going to come down with no sledgehammer, but just help and get that stuff registered.
Yeah, I gotta agree between the administration, our law director, and Josh, you guys have done an outstanding job cleaning this town up a little bit and getting some of that blighted stuff out of there. Everything from the Kmart building to the, all this stuff that we've done. And, anything, in my opinion, anything we can add to the toolbox to keep the process going, I'm all for. Anybody on the committee have any comments, or?
Just ask the law director, do you feel confident that this is legislation that will hold up in court and we're good to go with these?
I feel very confident it's legislation.
Great.
I'm anxious to get it on the books because it's, like he said, another tool in our toolbox
Yeah.
for going after these blighted properties that are being used for drugs and homeless issues and that are a danger to our communities.
I know we've been working for a while to try to get what we felt was right, so I just wanted to make sure we were finally at that. Thank you for working on this.
Oh,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you, I appreciate that.
Mrs. Ramos, you have any comments, or
I do not.
you do not? Oh, okay, anybody else on council have any questions, or? No? Administration, yes? Anybody? So not seeing any, and would we like to do any action on proposed ordinance 9?
Actually, Mr. Chairman, I would move that we finally put this on the agenda for a first reading, since we've been trying so long.
Okay.
Second?
Second, Mrs. Ramos, we'll take a vote. Mr. Ribbon?
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes also. Is there anything else to come before committee? This is going a lot quicker than I thought it would. Seeing none, I have a motion to adjourn
So moved.
at 6:36.
Thank you.
We've been down that road once or twice.
All right.
All right, I see that it's 6:55 PM. I would like to call this meeting of the Special Ed Contact Committee to order. I know that Mr. Holland, one of our members, is absent tonight and excused. I see that Mr. Lanzer and Mrs. Ramos are here with me, so we will begin business. First order I've got for the committee tonight is ordinance 30, 2023, which is an ordinance to amend Chapter 197 of the codified ordinances of the City of New Philadelphia regarding a municipal income tax for the tax years after December 31, 2022, and after December 31 of 2023, or as otherwise provided in HB 33. We are doing this to remain in compliance with the newly enacted House Bill 33 and the changes to tax legislation that came from that. I know the law director has worked furiously to get this ordinance before us tonight, and I would direct any questions you have regarding the ordinance to the law director at this time. Does anybody in the committee have questions about what we're doing with this ordinance? Yes, Mrs. Ramos?
On page 2, section 1, it's the sentences, second sentence after to include, may elect to be subject to the taxpayer definitions in House Bill 33. What does that mean? Sounds like,
It means they can elect to use our definitions or the definition from House Bill 33.
so what is the definition in House Bill 33?
Without looking at House Bill 33, I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay.
But
I
know
finally
this-
found it, but,
But I know this puts us in compliance with it. This is going through several hands. I enlisted the help of Ray and Associates with this. I've also consulted with other law directors in the area, and we're actually using Rita to do it. And I feel pretty confident that this puts us in compliance with House Bill 33 and what we need to do.
looks like a lot of it does with remote work.
Yeah.
So a lot of definitions, a lot of just making sure that everybody falls under the tax code where they should.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. Other questions? Other members of council have questions on this ordinance? Administration? Nothing?
No, again, law director, thank you for,
Yeah. Furiously putting this
Yes.
together for us.
Thanks.
We appreciate it, and what I've read looks thoroughly done, so appreciate the hard work. Any other questions from anybody in the audience? Hearing none, I would ask the committee, do you have any action to be taken on this? We do need to get this so that we can be in compliance to collect taxes, right?
Yes, and I will be asking for, I had hoped that we would have enough here to pass on the first read tonight. We don't have that. So I have asked the president to have at least one special session between now and the 28th so we can pass it on the 28th.
So hearing that, do I have a motion to put this
So
on the
I
agenda?
move to put ordinance number 30, 2023 on the agenda for tonight.
I'll
Thank-
second that.
Thank you. We'll call the roll. Mrs. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Lanzer?
Yes.
And I will as well vote yes, so we will ask to put this on the agenda tonight for a first reading. Thank you. The other two matters to come before us, you've got a copy in front of you of two liquor license renewals where we're being asked whether or not we would like to request a hearing on the advisability of issuing the permit. I will tell you, I have contacted the health department and the police chief, both of whom say they have absolutely no issues with either of these renewals, that neither have caused any problems or have any reports. So I would ask if there's any action to be taken on that tonight as well.
I move that we do a voice vote during your committee comments to have Julie sign these off and send to the state that we do not want a hearing.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, then I will call the roll. Mr. Lanzer?
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos?
Yes.
And I will also vote yes to do that tonight. So we will put that on as well during my committee report. We'll ask for a voice vote. That is all I have for the committee tonight, unless the committee or council or members of the administration have anything else that we need to consider.
No?
If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay, we are adjourned at 7 o'clock.
All right, you're on.
Anti-homeless.
Good evening, everyone. We'll call to order the Safety, Health, and Service Committee. Mr. Holland is the chairperson. He is excused this evening. So the committee members are myself, Mr. Pace, and alternate Cheryl Ramos. So we have a resolution 24-2023. That is a resolution by the Council of the City of New Philadelphia to authorize rate increase for ambulance services provided by the New Philadelphia Fire Department for the calendar year 2024. And these rates are the rates that were approved by the ambulance committee at the last meeting. And so this is just bringing it through this committee to add to the agenda to for passage. Any questions or Mrs. Ramos?
I didn't think of this question when the chief was here before, but he added a rate for transportation of deceased individuals.
Yeah, I believe he went over that when he was here.
Right. And they don't want to do it because that isn't their mission, and I agree with that. So my question was, why not just saying we're not going to do it?
I think he did say, we don't want to, however, we will because it's the right thing to do in the event that they needed us to do that.
Well, we have other organizations that do that. I mean, like Smith.
I think it was a scenario where if those folks were busy
Right.
and the fire department would do that, we might as well be paid for our service.
Well,
More so
yeah,
than
yeah, we want to be paid for it, but we don't want it
advertising.
to
that
set
that's
it
what they-
up that we're detracting from the mission.
Yeah, I think it's only happened maybe twice.
Yeah, rarely happen.
Yeah,
So
And- but it
I
was
was
one of
just
those
wondering,
that-
how can we keep it very rare?
I don't,
just by continuing to do what
Right.
they've been doing, I mean,
And now you
Uh,
have a rate on it as well, so.
right, and that just, once again, that just, in case they have to. And it just, I mean, it was one of those situations where it was just the right thing to do.
So Smith no longer runs an ambulance service?
They have reduced
Yes.
their services on what they've been doing and their availability in the area. So it's even a slimmer chance that you'll get somebody.
Any other questions?
Mr. Chairman, what I remember about, like, say, when the chief came in, and it says there that it's new, is because he wasn't able to do anything with it, there was no fee schedule there for it, so if he doesn't wanna do it, but if he has to, there's a
Right.
fee schedule there to know to charge him. I think that charge alone is there to deter him alone, versus I don't think you ever wanna get yourself out of, I'm not gonna do that, because I think that would be a rough spot to be in.
I agree.
But that's just my 2 cents.
Any
Thank
other
you.
Oh,
discussion?
and I actually think that fee goes to the funeral home. So that just is incorporated in the fees that they would get incurred from the funeral home.
Any other questions or discussions regarding this resolution? Any action to be taken this evening?
I'd make a motion to add, what's the resolution number?
24-2023.
24-2023 to tonight's agenda.
And I'll second it. We'll take a vote. Mr. Pace?
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes as well. And any other items to come before committee this evening? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right.
Okay, we'll call to order the Finance Committee. Chairperson is Mr. Ricklick. He is excused this evening. Members are myself and Mr. Holland, who is also excused, and alternate Mrs. Ramos. So tonight's committee just has one ordinance 29, 2023 to discuss, and this is adjusting the permanent appropriations for the year 2023 for the police fire pension for $26,000. Did you want to just give us a quick background?
Well, we still have November's bill to pay for pension. And we will have enough money coming in based on what I project is gonna come in for income tax for the month of December to pay about 2/3 of that bill, but in order to do that, we need some more appropriation in there.
Any questions by committee members? Any questions, administration or other council members? Any action to be taken on ordinance 29, 2023?
I move that we put ordinance 29, 2023 on the agenda tonight.
And I'll second that. Mrs. Ramos?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes as well. Any other matters to come before the committee? Motion to adjourn?
Oh, so moved.
Thank
I was
you.
looking at Beth, and
No,
I
I-
seeing if she had something else.
No.
Do I have any more?
Immediately, you're just showing off.
Immediately after this.
No, we just want to call you back for another one.
Oh, great.
This meeting of New Philadelphia City Council will now come to order. Would you please rise and remain standing for the invocation and the pledge of allegiance? Mr. Rippeth.
Thank you, Mr. President. Would you pray with me, please? Almighty Heavenly Father, we thank you and give you praise for all your mighty works, Lord, for the way that you care for us and watch over us. We thank you, Lord, as we enter this season where we celebrate the birth of your Son, for the way that you've blessed this community with peace and prosperity. We thank you, Lord, for all of our workers, and ask you to continue to bless and keep them safe. Our safety services, our service director and his staff, and all the administrative people, Lord. And I just ask that you'd be present here tonight as we do the business of this city, that you'd give us discernment and wisdom to do your will and do what's right for the people of this fine community, Lord. Thank you for continuing to look over us. We just pray that you continue to take care of us in every way. This we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
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 Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. I'd like to welcome everybody here in person or streaming. We'll start our meeting with a roll call.
Mr. Holland. Mr. Lonzer.
Present.
Mrs. May.
Present.
Mr. Pace.
Present.
Mrs. Ramos.
Here.
Mr. Ricklick. Mr. Rippett.
Present.
Let it be known that Mr. Holland and Mr. Ricklick are excused tonight. Everybody's had a chance to look at the agenda tonight. Are there any additions to the agenda? Mrs. May.
Mr. President, I would like to add ordinance 29, 2023, and resolution 24, 2023 to tonight's agenda.
Do I have a second? Mr. Lonzo, you had your hand up first. Thank you. In discussion by administration, council, roll call.
Mrs. May.
Yes.
Mr. Lonzer.
Yes.
Mr. Pace.
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos.
Yes.
Mr. Rippett.
Yes.
All right. Are there any other additions? Mr. Lonzo?
Yes, Mr. President, I had asked that we add proposed ordinance 9, 2023 to tonight's agenda.
Do I have a second? Mr. Rippeth, thank you. In discussion by administration, council, roll call.
Mr. Lonzer.
Yes.
Mr. Rippett.
Yes.
Mrs. May.
Yes.
Mr. Pace.
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos.
Yes.
All right, are any other additions tonight?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr.
I'd like to add
Pace.
resolution number 25, 2023 to tonight's agenda.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Rippeth, thank you. In discussion by administration, council, roll call.
Mr. Pace.
Yes.
Mr. Rippett.
Yes.
Mr. Lonzer.
Yes.
Mrs. May.
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos.
Yes.
All right, any other additions?
Yes, Mr. President.
Yes, Mr. Rippeth.
I would ask that we add ordinance 30, 2023 to tonight's agenda for first reading, please.
Do I have a second? Mr. Lonzer. In discussion by administration, council, roll call.
Mr. Rippett.
Yes.
Mr. Lonzer.
Yes.
Mrs. May.
Yes.
Mr. Pace.
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos.
Yes.
We had a busy evening, all these committee meetings. Do we have any other additions to the agenda tonight? Here then, entertain a motion to approve the agenda with all the additions. Mrs.
So
Ramos. Mr. Alonso, second. In discussion by administration, council, roll call.
Mrs. Ramos.
Yes.
Mr. Lonzer.
Yes.
Mrs. May.
Yes.
Mr. Pace.
Yes.
Mr. Rippett.
Yes.
All right, agenda has been approved. Minutes, everybody's had a chance to review the minutes from our last council meeting. Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, entertain a motion to approve. Mrs. May, thank you. Mr. Ricketts, second, or thank you. However, any discussion by administration, council, roll call.
Mrs. May.
Yes.
Mr. Rippett.
Yes.
Mr. Lonzer.
Yes.
Mr. Pace.
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos.
Yes.
All right, minutes have been approved. Correspondence, Ms. Courtwright.
To Council Clerk from Treasurer Gerber, this is dated December 1st, 2023. This is the City of New Philadelphia Investment and Savings Report for November of 2023. To Council Clerk from Dominion Energy, and this is dated November 30th, 2023. This is a notice of filing new PIR adjustment case, PUCO case number 23-1011-GA-RDR. To Clerk of Council from the Ohio Division of Liquor Control dated November 24th, 2023. This is a permit class D5A liquor license request for Diamond Star Hospitality LLC, doing business as the Holiday Inn Express and Suites located at 145 Bluebell Drive Southwest, New Philadelphia. Response must be postmarked no later than December 25th, 2023. I forwarded this request to President Kemp to assign to committee, and President Kemp assigned this to the Special and Contact Committee. To Council and Administration from Jamie Bailey, the Executive Administrative Assistant for the Mayor, dated December 6, 2023. This is the November 2023 end-of-month report. To Council and Administration from Vicki Daniels with the City of New Philadelphia Income Tax Department, dated December 5th, 2023. This is the November 2023 income tax report. To Council and Administration from Heather Denham with the Auditor's Office, dated December 5th, 2023. And these are the November 2023 end-of-month reports. And to Council and Administration from Mayor Day, dated December 11th, 2023, the Mayor's report. And that concludes correspondence for this evening, Mr. President.
All right, thank you, Ms. Courtwright. Moving to our administrative reports. First up, Mayor Day.
Thank you, Mr. President, fellow administrators, council members, and guests. As we are winding business down here for the year, I just want to remind everyone of much that the city has achieved this year as a result of the leadership and skill of our department heads. They quietly carry out their daily duties of managing their offices, the workforce, and complete project with not a whole lot of fanfare. But I want to take this time to thank them and ask that you do the same. Service Director Ron McAbeer, Water Department Superintendent Scott DeVault, Wastewater and Sewer Department Superintendent Brian Myers, Cemetery Department Superintendent Kelly Herron, Parks and Recreation Department Superintendent Rod Miller, General Services Superintendent Ray Gruel, Safety Director Greg Popham, Fire Chief Jim Parrish, Police Chief Tessa Pohovey, Human Resources Director Lacey McCain, Income Tax Administrator Vicki Daniels, and Health Commissioner Vicki Iona. And don't forget Mayor's Office Executive Assistant Jamie Bailey and our Assistant Superintendents Chris Osborne, Adam Fulton, Mike Pyle, and Assistant Fire Chief Matt Thur. The commitment to excellence by these individuals is why New Philadelphia is Tuscarawas County's leading city and why our services are second to none. They don't ask for recognition, but they sure deserve it. And also, I want to report to you that last week the Mayor's Office received a $50,000 check from the Kimball Foundation to help pay for construction of Phase 2 of the Southside Community Park. I sent a thank you letter to the foundation that expressed the city's gratitude for its support of the project. Phase 2 of the Southside Community Park's development calls for completion of the lighted entrance road from Old Town Valley Road to the high school soccer fields, construction of youth soccer fields, completion of a mile walking path around the circumference of the park, construction of 2 restroom/concession stands, and parking lots. The city has also applied for construction grants from the federal government through Senator Sherrod Brown's office and from the state biennial budget through Representative Brett Hillier's office. An application for a state Nature Works grant was recently rejected. We're sad to report that. Now I'd like to yield the remainder of my time to Tom Farbizo of Quaker Digital Academy for a presentation. Tom?
Thank you, Mayor Day, esteemed council members, Law Director Mr. Fate, Mr. Kemp, Council President, and Mayor Day again. I'm here as promised. I was here 2 weeks ago. Tonight I'm back with a couple checks, but if you look at our annual report, and look at page 5, just want to call this to your attention. As you can see on page 5, We gave out $5,850 in scholarship money last year, and on behalf of Dr. Richard Verratti and the staff at Quaker Digital Academy and the Quaker Digital Educational Foundation, we thank you for allowing us the opportunity to do a program that we worked with Law Director Fate and Mayor Day and council probably about 6 years ago now. We've been in existence, maybe 7. I might have lost track because of COVID a couple of years. But we have been able to sell advertising on the windows at the main hangar at the airport. And I'm happy to say that we have most of those windows filled. And because of the advertisers are able to take this money and give out scholarships, to date, we've given out probably over $15,000 in scholarship money. And we base that on how many students we have that apply, that are worthy of it, and also how much money we've taken in. And some of the advertisers, just to tip my hat to them, on the airport windows, Buckeye Career Center, Kennedy Insurance, Quaker Digital Academy, Vasco Sports Contractors, Ferris Chevrolet, Kimball Company, Educational Service Center, the City of New Philadelphia is on there, and we got a new one, was put up 2 days ago, Fraud Division of Department of Human Services is up. We have 2 vacant windows, and we have a lead on probably at least 1 down there. The nice part of this program is the city received all new energy efficient windows, not only on the front of the building, but also on the side. There's probably 6 or 7 windows on the side that we put in new windows. And due to the location, I wasn't comfortable trying to sell ads because you'd only be able to see it one way, not both ways. And also, just for the record, the city was kind enough to pay for the lights and the wiring, but Buckeye Career Center lit that parking lot and backlit those ads. So the parking lot's lit at night for safety, and also the ads are lit at night. And then we, after we did the airport windows, the city was kind enough, and we worked with Law Director Fate again and used the same template, and we sold ads on the sanitation trucks. Currently, we have ads on the sanitation trucks. There's 4 trucks that have ads on both sides. That's 8 ads, advertisers. QDA, Simpson Heating and Cooling, Wood Electric, Anytime Tree Service, Berkey's Car, which down on East High, he's gonna be coming off, and we have Miller Studio is gonna be going on here shortly. Walton's Auto, Lightning Signs, and Martin Mobile Glass are the advertisers on that. And so tonight, I'm happy to be here and present to the mayor and the city of New Philadelphia 2 checks. One is for the sanitation trucks. It's $3,840. And the second one is for the airport windows, is $3,360. Tonight to the city of New Philadelphia, it should be, if I did my math right, about $7,200 tonight to the city. And with that, over the period of 5 or 6 years we've been in existence, we've given the city $30,580. So again, I thank you, and Merry Christmas 2 weeks early.
Hey, Mayor. Mayor, Tom, come
Stop
up
for a
here.
picture.
Picture
Come up
time.
here. I can't walk that far, so just come up here, guy. We'll take a picture.
Oh, you want to get in on this, Don?
Sure.
Okay.
Stand on both sides. I'll stand behind you.
Like this?
Yeah, there you go.
Perfect. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
John.
you, Skip. Thank you.
Mayor, President?
I'm thinking.
Hand them right over left.
Thank you very much, Tom, and for all your work that you do here in the community. We're lucky to have you. All right, are
That
you done?
concludes my report, Mr.
Okay.
President, I'm sorry.
I thought Tom had more to say, he was standing over there.
And actually, I do, he says.
He has the floor.
Along those lines, we hope to continue the program. I will be back next year, good Lord willing and everything, with some more checks. And we'll probably be able to increase the scholarships. When I said it's based on, Jill Westbrook's the guidance counselor. Jill screens the students. And one thing that we do, so you know, we do not issue the check to the school or trade school or two-year college, four-year college. We issue the check directly to the student, because that gives them some extra leverage to get more money. If you issue it to the school, they take that away from what they're going to give you. So we issue the check directly to the school. And we've only, since the program started, we've only done 1 year. Eventually, we may do a couple years, depending on how the student does with grades and stuff like that there. So, again, thank you.
All right, thanks, Tom. Any questions for the mayor? If not, move on to the service director, Mr. McAbeer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, everyone. I think the key there also with Tom is like he said about the, not only would you get $30,000, but the new windows to help heating and cooling that main hangar, as far as the help that does, let alone the money, but then to put new windows in also is a key. And also, I know the mayor didn't slight these folks, but I'm gonna mention them. Larry Loudermilk and Josh Mathias, Building Zoning Code Administrator. I know it wasn't done intentionally, but I want to thank them, and I know he does too, because we all know what great job they do when anybody comes in with any IT questions, or Josh, what he does also. So I just wanted to start that with that. Okay, now also, in the last 3 weeks, or last 2 weeks since we last met, 3 big projects have been completed. Franklin Square, we did a final walkthrough of that early last week. There's some punch list items that they have to take care of, naturally reseeding everything. Again, in the spring, they'll do that. They're gonna take care of some low areas that are over in the Great All property that's holding water. Met with Damon Gold over there last week. And there's some gravel area that they tore up that they need to put a couple more loads of gravel down. So that's the punch list with them. Also, an area there that they had paved. You know, there's an area there from the just I guess south of the tracks and just a little bit north of the tracks. There's this piece there, but it's sprawling already and cracking. So we're going to put it under a warranty issue, and they'll come back and keep an eye on it. I got a feeling they're gonna have to tear it up and rebase it and put it back in. Other than that, that project is completed. Also, the Small Cities Paving did a final walkthrough with that, with ODOT's engineers. They have a ton of little punch list items, especially down on 16th Street. There's some berm work, how they spray it there. They needed to put some more material in a couple places out there. There's some sealing that needs to be done around a couple of our catch basins that they did not do, and a couple of handicap ramps over on Wabash Avenue. Just some little things that they're gonna also come back in the spring. So we'll hold 10% of that job to make sure that that stuff's complete. But again, it's nice to see that the 2 real big projects getting done. Also last week, we finished up, city paving is finally completed. Everybody's probably heard, known about the mess we had over here on First Drive in Ashwood. Well, that has been patched. They ran out of time, but that's good, that's okay. It was busy over there, so if anybody asks, we're gonna pave all that June 19th, because they're gonna be off. And we're gonna talk to the bank, and I think they're gonna be off too, so that it's not so congested. When they was over there even doing that work, it was highly traveled. So we're gonna try to coincide that. That's the date that Gesner has set aside to pave that whole alley and be done with it. But again, they at least patched it in and got it good for us through the winter until it gets through to June 19th. But I want everybody to know that's all of our city paving is completed as of last week. Also, I don't know if everybody knows where Lockport Village Hall is on the south side, 123 Commercial Avenue Southeast. That is set for demolition. It's our city building. So hopefully if the contractor holds up on his part, but should be down by the end of this year. We had some records we had to get out of there, so it should be, hopefully by the end of this year, supposedly Bridges Excavating is supposed to come in and raise that building. Also, which has been a long drawn-out process, but I did talk with Al Kohler from AEP, and all the material is in for South Broadway lights. And so they're gonna start on that next Monday. We're gonna help them with some traffic control on the one lane. That's the one lane they're heading south on South Broadway at Front Street. We help them with traffic control, and as they go down, they're gonna take care of it themselves. And they're doing everything, including the lights underneath Route 250. So those lights will also be done. Again, they think it's 2 days to do, so I'm hoping the 18th and 19th, weather permitting. As we all know, it's fairly dark down there. So again, good work to have. Like I said, the stuff just came in though, last Thursday. So got a week to do everything, but again, the 18th and 19th, I hope to report on that at the next council meeting that it's all completed and everybody will see that it's all completed. But that's the end of my report. Any questions?
Hey, good report. Anybody got any questions? Mr. Fabrizio?
Yes, is that the white building down there on Lockport?
Yes, right beside, what is that, DTS or whatever?
Yeah, that's it?
Yes, yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So that's city.
That's the city, yes, yes, sir.
All right, thank you, Mr. McAbeer. Move on to Safety Director, Mr. Popham.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report.
All
And
right.
Merry Christmas to everyone.
Hey, thank you. Auditor, Mrs. Gundy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report this evening.
All right. Treasurer, Mr. Gruber.
No report. Merry Christmas.
All right, thank you. Law Director, Mr. Fate.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to formally ask you, I've informally asked you, ordinance 30/2023 needs to be passed before the end of the year. It had been my hope that we would have enough there to pass it tonight on a first read. Since we do not, I'm going to ask that we have a special session maybe this week and pass it on the 28th to make sure that it gets passed. One of the things that I want to talk about on that, this has been something that has occupied a tremendous amount of my time and anxiety over the last several weeks. Because if we do not have our tax code correct, we might be prohibited from collecting income tax, and obviously that's our lifeblood. In the past, I know when the mayor was our income tax administrator, we did a massive overhaul. In fact, those two massive overhauls are referenced in the legislation that I did for today. And we were in a transition with our income tax administrator, and when I met a few weeks ago, I was told there was only two things, and I took that at face value, and I went ahead and did put together what it was, and thank goodness for my assistant, Heidi Sander, who I want to really give a lot of praise to this evening. She is a research guru. She lives for doing research, and she saw what I did, and she started researching it. And she said, you know, I think there's a heck of a lot more to this. She says, if you looked at House Bill 33, she said it's 6,000 pages long. And she started looking at what other cities were doing, and she found out that RETA was actually drafting for each city. We don't have RETA, so we didn't have that as an opportunity for us. So I reached out to other law directors to see what they were doing. And I also, at the mayor's advice, and I also want to thank Derek Conrad at Ray and Associates. I reached out to him, and I said, look, I'm having a really hard time with this because, you know, the tax House Bill 33, like I said, was 6,000 pages long. And I'll tell you, in law school, we used to refer to the tax law class as the great equalizer, because the kids that were at the top of the class would take tax law, and their grade would bring them down to the level with the rest of us in terms of our overall GPA. So tax law is a very complicated area, and you really need somebody that's an accountant with an accounting background, and that's why I'm very thankful to Derek Conrad for the work that he did and for pointing me in the right direction. And I'm thankful to him and Heidi Sander, and I also work closely with Doug O'Mara, who they were literally finishing theirs up this afternoon, so they were in a similar situation to what we were. And so I just wanted to praise and thank those individuals, let you know the hard work that your assistant's doing for you, and that we've got good people that we're working with at Ray and Associates that are a tremendous asset to our community. And like I said, we need to pass this before the end of the year, and I would ask that we do that. And I also want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. This is an important season for everyone, and we celebrate the birth of our Lord Jesus Christ, and I know that that was a tremendous gift to the entire world. So I wish all of you peace and a very happy and Merry Christmas with your families.
Thanks, Marvin. I read, what's everybody's schedule like for Wednesday of this week? Or Thursday? For about 5-10 minutes.
Either day's fine.
Thursday's better than Wednesday for me.
All right.
Same here.
Thursday,
Thursday would be better.
around 5:30,
Cheryl,
That's fine.
Let's make it 6 if we could.
6, okay.
6 o'clock Thursday.
Those are my 2 nights I work later.
I'll
We only
give
need
you
4 of you
extended
here.
lunch.
Extended lunch, oh, great.
Well, like you said, we can only need 4.
I can't do either.
Can do either.
No, not unless we do it like exactly 5 o'clock.
You can still go into next week, right?
Well, we was trying to get it, because we could go into next week,
Maybe
Next
Monday.
Monday.
I'm just saying that, that we're not out after that till another 10 days.
Monday would be the,
Monday?
18th.
how about next Monday at,
You name it.
I'm gonna have an issue.
oh, could you go to, Lorraine?
Yeah,
Maybe Larry can fill in?
we could, I mean, it's gonna be a 5-minute.
Yeah, we'll suspend everything but legislation.
Yeah. What's, 6 o'clock or 6:30, what's a,
Whatever works for you
Six,
guys.
Yeah, whatever works.
6:30, I could probably be here.
about 6:30 next Monday?
Okay.
Yep.
Ain't gonna be very long. All
All
right,
right.
so the 18th at
18th,
6:30.
You'll have to do another committee
I
meeting.
know everybody's thrilled to be here for the
Yeah, we can
holiday.
put on some other stuff too, we can pass. Third reading, right, we got some other
Yeah.
legislation.
Well, no, well, the others, the commendations,
But it'll
we'll
get
save
to-
those.
Okay. All right, so we're scheduled again for the 18th at 6:30.
6:30, okay.
All right, move into our board commission reports, planning commission.
Thanks,
May.
Mr. President. The planning commission will be meeting here in the council chambers tomorrow at 1 o'clock. On the agenda is a rezoning request from MPS Manufacturing, which is located at 407 Casement Avenue Northeast. Also, Service Director McAbeer will be giving the commission an update on parceling of city-owned land along Commercial Avenue Southeast and Southwest. And if we have time, which I don't think we will, we'll discuss the latest information we received from Wendy Mueller from Compass Point Planning, who's doing the revisions of our zoning and signage codes.
All right, any questions from the mayor? Now move on to Board of Zoning Appeals, Mr. McAbeer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Board of Zoning Appeals will meet tomorrow evening at 5 PM here in council chambers with 3 variance requests to be heard at that time.
All right, thank you. Airport Commission, Mr. Lonzer.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Airport Commission's airport meeting tomorrow at 6 PM has been canceled. We will be meeting on January 9th at 6 PM here in council chambers.
All right, thank you. Park Board, Mr. Pace.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Park and Cemetery Committee met this evening at 6:15. We discussed resolution number 2023, and it passed 3-0 to go on tonight's agenda. It was a use agreement between the city and the school system for the tennis courts. And we also discussed the money for the advertising that Mr. Farbizo brought in this evening, to be used towards park projects, and the sponsorship on the airport hangar to go maybe back to the airport. So that's just been discussed, and we'll talk about that further probably at another meeting. And then other than that, that meeting adjourned at 6:24, and then other than that, the Mac and Turf Realty's annual Christmas in the park is Sunday, from 4 to 8. Hopefully the weather's nice. It looks like it's gonna be nice. And it'll be one way for the community to get in the Christmas spirit.
Yes.
And that's about all I have. So Merry Christmas, and everybody enjoy their families.
All right, thank you, Mr. Pace. Health Board, Mr. Holland is not here this evening. Moving to council committee reports, finance, Mrs. May.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Finance Committee met this evening at 7:14 regarding ordinance 29/2023, which was adjusting the appropriations for police and fire pension. It was voted on to add ordinance 29/2023 to tonight's agenda, and we adjourned at 7:16.
All right, thank you. Moving to Public Works and Economic Development.
Thank you,
Mr.
Mr.
Alonso.
President. The Public Works and Economic Development Committee met at 6:31 this evening. We had one item to discuss, and that was proposed ordinance 9, which had to do with the vacant property registration legislation. After some short discussion, it was voted unanimously to be put on tonight's agenda for first reading.
All right, thank you. Move on to Safety, Health, and Services, Mrs. May.
Thank you, Mr. President. Safety, Health, and Services met this evening at 7:10 regarding resolutions 24/2023, and this was to add this resolution to tonight's agenda for first reading regarding the ambulance rate increase. Meeting was adjourned at 7:14.
All right, thank you. Zoning and annexation, Mrs. Ramos.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report.
All right. Salary, Mrs. May.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report.
All right. Cemetery, Mr. Pace.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report this evening, but we are meeting this Thursday at 8 a.m. in council chambers.
Contact and Special, Mr. Rippeth.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Contact and Special Committee met tonight at 6:55 PM here in council chambers. We had a couple of matters come before us tonight. First was ordinance 30/2023, dealing with the income tax changes that the law director recently discussed, and it was voted unanimously out of that committee to put that ordinance on tonight's agenda for first reading. Additionally, we had 2 liquor license renewal issues, where we were requested to answer whether or not we desired hearings. The committee chose unanimously not to request a hearing on either of those, one at the South Side drive-through and the other at the Holiday Inn Express. I would ask for a voice vote at this time to authorize the clerk of council to go ahead and mark those as not requesting a hearing of any kind, and then forward them back to the Liquor Commission, if we could do that.
All right, voice vote, go ahead, Mr. Corey.
Mr. Lanzer.
Yes.
Mrs. May.
Yes.
Mr. Pace.
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos.
Yes.
Mr. Rippeth.
Yes,
All right, pass vote 4.
that concludes my report, sir.
All right, thank you. Visitors' comments, the floor is now open for visitors' comments. Anyone wishing to address council should rise, state your name and address, and address all comments to the chair. You will have 5 minutes. Anyone wish to address council tonight? None of our new guys?
Say last chance as a visitor.
Yeah. Next one.
No, they got one more reading, visitors. All right, council comments. Anybody on council have any comments tonight? I guess I'm like everybody else. I would wish everybody a Merry Christmas, and hopefully everybody gets to spend time with their family and loved ones, and it's just have a great time. We'll move into our legislative agenda.
Ordinance number 9, 2023, an ordinance by the council of the city of New Philadelphia, Ohio, to enact codified ordinance chapter 1343, vacant property registration with regards to the registration and maintenance of vacant residential, commercial, and industrial properties and declaring an emergency. First reading.
So the action was taken by council tonight. Here and then, we held for our next regularly scheduled council meeting.
Ordinance number 25, 2023, an ordinance by the council of the city of New Philadelphia, Ohio, to enact salary rate increases for designated non-bargaining unit employees and elected officials for 2024 in accordance with the attached non-bargaining worksheet as listed therein and subject to the terms and conditions listed therein and declaring an emergency. Third reading.
So the action was taken this evening. Mrs. May,
Mr. President, I ask that ordinance 25, 2023 be passed this evening.
do I have a second?
I'll
Mr.
second it.
Lancer. All right, any discussion by community, administration, council? Roll call.
Mrs. May.
Yes.
Mr. Lancer.
Yes.
Mr. Pace.
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos.
No.
Mr. Rippeth.
Yes.
All right, it has passed.
Ordinance number 29, 2023, an ordinance by the council of the city of New Philadelphia, Ohio, amending and adjusting permanent appropriations ordinance for the year 2023 and declaring an emergency. First reading.
So the action was taken by council this evening. Here then, we have our next regularly scheduled council meeting.
Ordinance number 30, 2023, an ordinance to amend Chapter 197 of the codified ordinances of the City of New Philadelphia, Ohio regarding municipal income tax for tax years after December 31st, 2022, and after December 31st, 2023, or as otherwise provided by House Bill 33, first reading.
So the action was taken by council this evening. All right, here and then, we have for our next regularly scheduled council meeting.
Resolution number 21, 2023, a resolution by the council of the city of New Philadelphia, Ohio, to commend Kelly Ricklick for his 33 years of service and dedication to the citizens of New Philadelphia, serving 8 as the city's at-large council member and 25 years serving in the New Philadelphia Water Department. Second reading.
So the action was taken on this evening. Here then, we have for our next regularly scheduled council meeting.
Resolution number 22, 2023, a resolution by the council of the city of New Philadelphia, Ohio, to commend Dean Holland for his 8 years of service and dedication to the citizens of New Philadelphia as the city's at-large council member. Second reading.
So the action was taken by council on this evening. Here and then, we have for our next regularly scheduled council meeting.
Resolution number 23, 2023, a resolution by the council of the city of New Philadelphia, Ohio, to commend Amy May for her 8 years of service and dedication to the citizens of New Philadelphia as the city's at-large council member. Second reading.
So the action was taken by council this evening. Here then, we have for our next regularly scheduled council meeting.
Resolution number 24, 2023, a resolution by the council of the city of New Philadelphia to authorize a rate increase for ambulance services provided by the New Philadelphia Fire Department for the calendar year 2024 and declaring an emergency. First reading.
So the action was taken by council this evening. Here then, we have for our next regularly scheduled council meeting.
Resolution number 25, 2023, a resolution by the council of the city of New Philadelphia, Ohio, to authorize the mayor of the city of New Philadelphia to enter into a use agreement with the Board of Education of the New Philadelphia City School District for use of the tennis courts located at Tuscarora Park, located at 161 Tuscarora Avenue Northwest in New Philadelphia, Ohio, for use by the school district's tennis teams during their athletic competitions and practices, and declaring an emergency. First reading.
So the action was taken by council tonight. Here then, we have for our next regularly scheduled council meeting.
That concludes legislation for this evening, Mr.
All right,
President.
thank you, Mr. Cartwright. Do we have any unfinished old business? Any new business? I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, thank you, Mr. Alonso. We are adjourned at 8:09.
Merry
Thanks,
Christmas, everyone.
Yes, Merry Christmas.